back?
We are back.
All right.
Test
Paul
that
Reed
microphone.
here
All
for
right.
another edition of Live Feed Reads. We're a little late. I was telling Jason I had a little intestinal issue going on here. I started a diet, and I hate the term diet, but remember the video where I had to throw the bones at oh, by the
The
way,
dog?
Jason, the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson. Welcome,
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah.
Jump right in.
Thank you,
Didn't
thank you,
introduce
thank
you.
you.
But yeah, remember the one you put
Yeah,
on Facebook where Millie's chasing the squirrel?
yeah.
All right, well,
And you
just so you
busted.
know, those pants that I had on
Yeah,
were not buttoned because my fat ass couldn't fit into them.
got you.
So I was like, you can't, just so you know, in TV world or computer world, the answer is not to go out and just buy more clothes and bigger pants. That's the easy solution, and
Just so you know.
certainly I could do so. So I just started looking at stuff, and it's called the keto diet,
Yeah.
which bottom line is simply this, and there's a numbers, but what I've chosen to do is you can eat, a little bit between the hours of waking 8 a.m. to about 5. Okay. And then you fast or don't eat, so to speak, for the next 16 hours. So it's kind of like you can eat for 8 hours and don't eat. Well, of course, and it's like anything. It's high on protein. Don't eat sugars and carbohydrates and stuff. And of course, here at work, dude, I got news for you. Somebody brought in muffins today, cookies today. I went to the Angel Foundation ribbon cutting. There were the favorite cupcakes, the red velvet.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to stick my face in the cupcake.
Right?
But I didn't.
Oh, man. I made
So
banana pudding the other day.
So starting, was it September 1st, and I kept my little chart.
Yeah.
What I did was I fasted. I guess it was the Wednesday. So it was the last day of August. So Wednesday the 31st, I didn't eat. Monday, September 1st, I didn't eat. But then Friday the 2nd, I went to do a new client sign up at his house. And as I'm leaving, I damn near passed out in the driveway. So I'm like, okay.
You told me that, but I didn't realize it was because of this.
Yes. It was because of this.
All right. It's coming full circle.
All right. So I started at 186. I wrote this down. So 186, way too much.
Wait,
and so
time out. Sorry, time out. Wait, you weigh 186?
Not anymore.
No, you're lying. What? How much do you weigh?
Now?
No. But when you started,
186.
How tall are you?
5'10".
Son of a! I'm 228.
You're a fat ass. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Keto diet. Here's what you do. On Wednesday, you don't eat. On Thursday, you don't eat. On Friday, pass out. Decide to eat. So what I did was I went to the Publix and got some boar's head turkey and a salad. And so then I'm like, okay, well, eating, you have to eat. So then what I will do now in the morning, depending, I'll do a hard-boiled egg or two, and just a piece or two of bacon. So I'll get up in the morning and I'm getting a shower and I'm walking and letting the dog out and all that. And make no mistake, here's the thing. After you do this a little while, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
It's you're just, I'm not hungry.
You get
but let me
used to
continue.
it.
So then I started, and that's what I was doing. Now the problem, of course, and where my brick wall is, unbeknownst to I was going to say, unbeknownst to most of the population out there, I like my beer.
Yeah.
And so, at night, that's at night is my carbohydrates and
yeah, man.
But now here's what I do. I basically the breakfast will be an egg, maybe some bacon, sometimes nothing at all. Yeah. I'll do a lunch. My lunch is some form of meat and a vegetable. Either like today was some beans that Michelle had brought in, beans and ham and a salad. But that's it. I'm done. So now I won't eat until tomorrow. And so it started at 186. Today was 176. So basically, and we're not done, but we go 1, 2, 3+ weeks is 10 pounds. Now that ain't bad. My pants fit.
Nice.
My blood pressure's down.
Yeah.
I'm looking good. Now, even though the sign out there, I don't know if you have seen it, you don't drive by, but it's pretty funny because I put up there, my six pack is hidden by a layer of fat.
Yeah, I had
So
that.
that's pretty good.
I had that realization today when I was working out, and I was doing an exercise where you do push-ups, but like with your hands curled behind you. And so I was looking down, and I just saw this ridge hanging
Yeah.
hanging
Well,
down. I was
no,
like, "Oh, hey there,
dude,
hey there, man."
I looked like I was having a baby. I was like, this is disgusting. Because I have from my bed
Yeah,
to the shower is a big mirror, and I walk by like, what the hell is that? I look like
yeah,
I'm fixing to deliver.
yeah.
I'm like, we can't have this. So we'll see.
All right, so
All right, so
Beethoven
let's
Dave
do
says
this.
hi.
That's there's your intro. Now here's another. Here's something. A week or two ago, maybe I think it was last week, we talked about the young man Andrew Joseph
Yeah,
who was crossing I-4, was thrown out of the fair, and that the trial had begun.
right.
All right. Well, the trial ended yesterday, and the jury came back and found the sheriff. Well, two things. First, they found the sheriff and the officer did not violate Andrew's civil rights, and that's important
Okay.
when it comes to this judgment. And then the other, they found that the sheriff was negligent in not calling the parents and not making sure that Andrew was safe and all those things that they alleged at trial. They agreed with the parents, and they
Okay.
awarded $15 million.
Okay.
Okay, were you aware of any of this?
No, no.
All
I
right.
knew that they. I think I last I'd heard they had requested 30 million, or
Right.
that
Yep.
was the ask.
Right.
And I know that we had talked a little bit last week about what some of the potential technicalities might be, as well as like what police officers are required to do
Well,
and not.
here's what happens now. Now, I'm going to tell you uh, what I think more than likely is going to happen and what basically can happen.
Okay.
There's a sovereign immunity cap we had talked about of $200,000.
What
So
does
of
that
that,
mean?
the parents will get 200,000 of that 15 million, and that's it.
Why? Wow.
That's again. I hope I'm wrong,
Yeah.
and maybe I am, but here's how it works. Because the sheriff was found negligent, but did not violate the civil rights of Andrew,
Okay.
there's a statutory cap of $200,000.
Okay.
That's what the parents will get. Now, there's a possibility that they could get more, and here's how. But why this is going to be a problem. If the sheriff, which they probably did, and most of these entities do, they buy a policy of insurance, just like you buy a policy of insurance. So
Sure.
let's just
Okay.
say it's $1 million, okay?
Yeah.
And it's usually not much more than that. So let's just go with I've seen 1 million. I haven't seen more.
Yeah.
So let's
Okay.
assume it's $1 million.
Okay.
The
And
parents
that's like a
could
workman's insurance. I'm unfamiliar with this, so
it's just an insurance policy
for
in case
specifically for police officers.
well, for the sheriff's office, which
Okay.
includes all employees.
Okay.
So the sheriff, in his sole discretion, can tell his insurance company, go ahead and give him the million. But the sheriff can also say, don't give him the million. So the insurance company will ask the sheriff how you'd like to proceed. Would you like, if there's an insurance policy? I'm not saying there is.
Sure. Right. Okay. Okay.
If there is, the sheriff is the sole decision maker as to whether or not to release that money.
Okay.
Now, and again, I didn't study the trial. I don't know. I know
Right.
what I've told you about it. But given the fact that the sheriff even refused to settle for the 200,000 and made this family go to trial,
Yeah.
right?
Like 6 years
Thinking we did
later.
nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I will be surprised if he gives them the $1 million.
Okay.
If he was going to go that, unless I caveat, unless they agreed to give him 200 and the family said no, that's not enough. That's always could have happened as well.
Okay.
Follow me. So I shouldn't say that the sheriff didn't try to give him the 200,000. He may have. The sheriff may very well okay the payment of the insurance policy.
We know the state fair settled, but
who
the
knows
sheriff
what?
didn't.
Right. Well, so
you're just following a
here's
pattern.
What I'm not the bill. It's called a claims bill, and that's lawyers who basically you have to file a pretty significant document, a claims bill, with the Florida legislature, which means the Senate and the House of Representatives, and they then can decide whether they want to give you any money.
Okay.
As we had talked about last week, that's very rare, and I'll give you this. But let me Quentin Tarantino you. I just was doing a little research, and this says that pursuant to Florida statute on these claims bills and being able to submit one, there's a 4-year statute of limitations, meaning you have 4 years after the cause for relief accrued. I don't know if that means he had 4 years from when the incident occurred,
or 4 years from the judgment.
Right. It says that pursuant to a Florida statute, no claims bill against the state shall be presented to the legislature within 4 years after the cause.
Because we're like almost 7 years later at this point.
The cause for relief accrued. So I guess you'd have to look for when the cause for relief accrued. It would make sense, in my opinion. That would be the judgment.
Judgment, yeah.
That's what makes sense.
So school me, take me to school here, because you had said that they won a summary judgment for 15 million. No. Sorry.
Oh, they just won a trial.
They won a trial for 15, but at 15 million.
The defense put on its case. The plaintiffs put on their case. The jury went back, deliberated, and said we fine for the plaintiffs and give them 15 million. So there's no one summary judgment.
But they're only going to see 200,000 of that potentially.
Well, they're going to get 200.
Right. Okay.
Then if
where does the rest of that go?
Hold on.
Yeah, because I don't understand.
If they have an insurance policy, the sheriff can say give them that too.
Okay.
If the statute of limitations begins with the judgment, then what they can do is they can ask the Florida legislature to give us more money. But here's the deal: it's extremely difficult. And by way of example, the victims of Marjorie Stone shooting.
Right. Yeah. That's the elderly.
No, that's the shooting down in South Florida. 15, 20, 30 kids were shot.
Right. Okay, that one.
Okay. So they asked for $25 million, right? All these kids, their parents, you know what the legislature has done?
No.
That right there, nothing.
Wow.
And so they're not giving these people money. Very difficult. Very difficult to get them to give you money.
So what's the point of a case judgment coming in at 15 million if the plaintiff is only going to see 200,000? Like, what happens to the rest? Like, what what's the point of 15 million being awarded? Hey.
That's what happens to the rest.
Yeah. Okay. It just vanishes. So money laundering
unless you can convince the Senate and the House of Representatives to give you money.
Okay. Wow.
It's not easy. It's very difficult. It doesn't happen often. It just doesn't. If you want, people can Google just claims, CLAI, claims bill Florida, and you can see some of the examples that they don't.
Yeah.
I remember this was a while back, but there was some quadriplegic man, couldn't walk, this, that, and the other. And he had a claims bill up there in the legislature. They wouldn't pay it. So he had them wheel him in his gurney right in front of the legislature. And he laid there for weeks in the rain and everything. They didn't pay it.
Wow.
Yeah. And
to what end? Like, what's the point of not paying? Like, do they not have it?
Well,
so why? So here, multifold question. Like, do they not have it? And if they don't have it, why award the judgment?
I was another article could be Here's some of the reasons why. It says sometimes claims bills in Florida don't pass because the state doesn't have the money.
Okay.
Because remember, this is taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, like just because you're awarded something doesn't mean that the money's there.
Now, I don't believe that to be the case this year. I believe with the COVID money and so forth, I believe there's a surplus, a large surplus.
Possibly, yeah.
That wouldn't be it. Listen to how they claim this. Whereas sometimes claims bills don't pass because certain, and here's the key word, powerful politicians think listening to sad stories and then picking which sad stories are the saddest as a way to decide who deserves money is unseemingly and unseemingly. They don't want to do it. They don't want to listen to it. They don't want to hear it because then they like they may have a conscience and and might not give it to you. Let me see what else.
Why we get to replace them. That's cool. Like,
yeah. Well.
You know what? I was having my kids read. It's I can't remember the name of it. It's a creed for Americans. It's an old.
Oh wait, hold on. Hold that. Let me finish. It says whereas sometimes claims bills don't pass because certain powerful politicians think lobbyists working on behalf of attorneys have too much influence. Because really, you have to have a senator or representative lobbying for you. You have to have lobbyists lobbying for you. You basically more or less need an attorney that knows what they're doing lobbying for you. And some politicians may say, I'm not going to give these people money. That's another reason. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I have the kids reading Stephen Vincent Benet's.
Back to you, Johnny.
Sorry. I was gonna say I have the kids reading as a part of their homeschooling curriculum. This week they're reading every day. They're having to read for 7 days straight, over and over and over, A Creed for Americans by Stephen Vincent Benet. It's really, really good, but it essentially talks about the people's right to rule themselves, what a democracy or a democratic system is. Those kinds of things. So that's there at the end of the 7 days. I'm gonna have this little question thing I'm gonna do with them and see what they actually remember from it. But yeah, I get sick of people like misunderstanding some of this stuff when I go all over YouTube as well. There's a lot of misconceptions that people just go through life living with when it comes to like our system and things like that. And I'm guilty of that myself. Like, you're educating me immensely with some of these things, because I just look at this and I'm like, what in the world? Why even have or throw around such arbitrary numbers if they're not realistic and able to be impacted, right? Like, if you award 15 million, but there's no shot in the dark that they're ever gonna see it, why award that much? Why not award 500,000 and actually deliver, right? Like, does that make sense?
It does, but make no mistake, it's not like the attorneys or the family in this case is just going to say, okay, we get 200,000, thanks for coming. They're very much going to try, if the statute of limitation is such that they have 4 years from, say, today, to get that money.
I would. What do you do? Like, if I lost one of my children and something like this, I'd be fighting like hell for that. Even if it was just to make someone else pay for the mistake that cost, you know what I mean?
Well, look, it was a sad state of affairs all
really
around about it. And I was just kind of trying to scan through here, so I don't know when the time accrues. I mean, again, to me, it would make sense because you really don't have a plan. You don't have a judgment or right to any money until a jury tells you.
Right.
So it's got to start from today, so to speak.
I could be wrong. Think so, but I would think so, but I could be wrong.
And so, but anyway, I guess the point is, and so we're done with that case. But so back to what I do on a daily basis, and I've got 2 judgments over there that I show people that are not like this, but they're similar. One of them's $12 million jury trial. The other's $1.6 million. Both entities filed bankruptcy, and my client's got nothing. Wow. And so you can go to court and you can get huge judgments, but that doesn't mean you'll ever collect a dime. I hope the parents collect money on this. Again, I'm not, this. We're done with the Andrew Joseph. God bless the parents. Hopefully they We got whatever they were looking for.
I'm happy with the verdict. Like I'm
you
glad
know,
to hear it. Because we talk a lot about what's technically legal and what feels morally right, or not feels, but like when you look at a situation, what appears to be morally right isn't always what's technically legal.
That's right. I'm not going to comment on whether the sheriff's right, the parents are right.
Sure.
All I'm saying is, unless you sat there throughout the whole trial,
Yeah.
and at least heard the evidence was presented, I don't know. You know, I don't know enough about it other than what I read in the paper.
Yeah.
You know, and so regardless, like you said,
yeah.
I know Leanne lost a friend.
Yep.
I know the parents lost a son, brothers, and so
and like you said,
a tragic situation. But you know, back to your, why bother? Well, sometimes that's exactly the question at the end of the day. Is like, what a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
From us, like, what a waste of time.
And how much resources did it cost to pursue this judgment?
On mine, the 12 million.
For both of these, like that just gets eaten up.
Somewhere between 25 and around $25,000.
Yeah.
And back in the day, probably 2.5 to 3 years of work.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't get. And I'm not tooting my own horn,
sure.
But everyone, someone had to pay 33% of $1 million. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But also, someone worked for 3 years, put $25,000 in a case, and got nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not crying. Sure. The Lord has blessed me, has blessed Reed.
Yeah, but you're right.
If you know what you're doing, you want way less of the I ate 25 grand in 3 years of time. You want those to be few and far between, and more of the others. Well, I recovered money from my clients.
But you know what? You are hitting on a really important message, which is that a lot of times we see bylines or the headlines of something or the short abstract of something, and we come to jump conclusions when there could be more. There's a whole lot more that goes into making some of these things happen. Just like when people look at video work and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, well, can't you just blah blah blah?" I'm like, "There's way more to it, than that." But hey,
speaking of that, did you want to throw up our book?
Well, we're out of time for today, and that's such a juicy thing. Maybe we save that one.
Well, by the way, Jason has created the cover for The Other Side of the Law.
Maybe I'll chop it into pieces and post one piece of it on a day, and then let people puzzle it
back
together.
to what I was saying is, even to just change a little bit of it, I saw him over here working and all that, and it was it wasn't just, hey, boom, hit a button.
There's a bunch of technical stuff that happens in the background.
But anyway, the book's coming along.
It is. It's nearing that moment.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Maybe next week
Jason, next week we'll tease them with the cover. What the hell?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, well, it's the first day of fall.
Really?
I don't know. What's the temperature say? How much time we got there?
Well, Hurricane 9 or Tropical Depression 9 is on its way.
Whatever.
So the temperature
first day of fall. It's a cool 93 degrees.
And it feels every bit of that outside.
So whatever. All right. Well, I'm going to the Rays game Saturday. They need to hold on for this wild card spot. They're in a pretty good position, but it's never over till it's over.
True.
A beautiful weekend to get out. Don't just watch the boob tube and play video games and do whatever.
No, get out, exercise, and get on a keto diet.
And then, I hear you. All right, well then, I guess that's it. Any final comments? Everyone,
no, we're good, man.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah, we had several viewers. We had people commenting. Someone named Beach Bum Dave said hi, so hi back to Beach Bum Dave.
Hi back, Beach Bum.
Yep, and our loyal and true and steady Brian Staley.
God bless him. Yes, God bless Mr. Staley. Oh, by the way, I did beat Mr. Staley in our 1-to-1 head matchup last week in our Beef O'Brady's fantasy. He had a commanding lead going into Monday night. I beat him 76-75. Boom. Thank you. Have a nice day.
That's a nail biter. That's close. All right. Well, with that, I think we'll kick it out then. Salute to Mr. What? Commodore Paul Reed.
Yeah. Neil, I'm coming for you too.